Good afternoon and happy Sunday. I'm Isaiah Jacob. After another lengthy decision-making process, four-time NFL MVP Aaron Rodgers is expected to sign a one-year deal with the Pittsburgh Steelers worth up to $25 million. Rodgers is expected to report to OTAs tomorrow. In Major League Baseball, the Guardians and Reds continue the Ohio Cup Series this afternoon at 1:40. Cleveland earned a 7-4 win yesterday behind a strong offensive performance to split the first two games of the series at one game each. Pre-game coverage begins right here on The Fan at 1:10. And tonight in the NBA playoffs, the Cavaliers are on the road for a decisive Game 7 matchup against the Detroit Pistons. Cleveland will try to keep its postseason run alive with a trip to the next round on the line. Last night, the Columbus Crew in action. They faced Philadelphia and finished with a draw 1-1. Breaking sports news when it happens on The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
This is the Fan Call-In Show.
Sponsored by the Sportsbook at Hollywood Casino Columbus. Must be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-589-9966.
This is the show that allows you to be the star. This is the Fan Call-In Show.
Oh, boy. Do we got some topics today. And a lot of this was because this was a big week around here. You had Ohio State. It seemed like every day dropping some kind of new information out there on us. And we are also, I don't know if it's even slowly anymore. I think we are on the highway to a 2014 playoff. And you and I are on total opposite ends of the spectrum with this. So we need to hear from you guys so you can help settle this debate. So 614-821-9710 is the number to call. I'm Ryan Baker. He is Scotty Vegas. Good morning. Thank you for tuning in to the Fan Call-In Show. And I don't think I want to dive right into those deep waters of some of the talks we just had. Let's talk about some of the Ohio State stuff here first. So Ohio State puts out a cryptic tweet earlier this week talking about 6:14, something's coming Monday night, and everybody, a lot of people were already like, oh, the gray stripes are coming back. Well, kind of. We got the news that they were a new black alternate jersey. They're calling it the Tunnel Vision jersey, and it did have the heritage, what they're calling the Buckeye stripes, back on the sleeve. Let's start there, Scotty, with just that first part of what we heard from Ohio State this week in the Jersey area. What did you think about the Tunnel Vision?
Love it. I love it. Like, we're going to get into all of this as a whole of what Ohio State's done this offseason. But to me, it's kind of, they are finally taking a little bit of the feedback from the fans. What do the fans want? And these new uniforms and adding gray to the sleeves and all that stuff, that's what the fans want. And so for me, I loved it, Ryan. I absolutely loved it. So you're going to have 5 uniform combinations that they've released, and you're adding the gray back to the sleeves, and gosh, they look spectacular. And it's what the fans wanted. I like that they are actually listening to the fans and making these changes.
And I guess it's not even really a gray, to be honest. It's pretty much a straight silver. Like, it looks like the football helmets. I don't know if it's scarlet and gray anymore. It is scarlet and silver for sure, and I'm okay with that. So the Tunnel Vision came out. Then all of a sudden, Ohio State just sneaks this in one random morning this week that the Buckeye stripes are back on the home and away jerseys. And I am one, Scotty, who I have always been if you could choose between the scarlet or the white jersey, the home or the away, I was always taking the scarlet jersey. And I still am, I believe, but there's something about that white jersey with the contrast of the red and the silver in the Buckeye sleeve that looks really, really good to me.
They all look spectacular to me. I've got it on the screen, all 5 of the different varieties and all the different options for 2026 for the uniform, and I love them all. I'm excited about what we're going to be going through this year as far as the jersey combinations. I think they hit a grand slam home run on this. But I will tell you, I think the bigger news of the week is that Ohio State is replacing the turf at Ohio Stadium. And this has been a concern, and there's been a lot of people that have kind of voiced their displeasure about the old turf at Ohio State. One that, I don't think it looked as great as it should have. And number two, it wasn't as safe and more importantly, it wasn't as safe for the players as what is currently out there. And so Ohio State has made the announcement that they are going to be replacing the turf. And I think this is a bigger deal than the uniforms, Ryan. And I'm extremely excited about this. And you see the options of what they can do and how they can change some of the things on the field consistently, and the pictures that people are putting out there. I'm even more excited about the new turf than I am the new jerseys, and I'm excited about the jerseys, Ryan.
So the turf, it's up to NFL standards, they're saying. And if there was a true safety concern with the turf, I don't know if there was. I haven't seen a lot of people getting injured on Ohio State's turf the last couple of years, more than anyone else. That's a problem, and it has to get done. And I know we all want grass. Grass isn't coming.
Nope.
Because they got to do 21 Pilots concerts and whatever to make sure they are making money at every turn that they can. And that's what I think this new turf is about more than anything, Scotty, because Ross Bjork talked about the customizable end zones.
Yep.
So when you have the tunnel vision jerseys, chances are you're going to have an all-black end zone with the red Ohio State and the Buckeyes in there, and that's going to look cool. But you know what else that means? It also means
Sponsors.
They can throw a sponsorship on there.
Yeah.
And I believe Ohio State has had Safe Light on the field the past couple of years, and in the rendering, Safe Light is there. And I'm okay with that, by the way. I've said that I would rather them sell every inch of that turf rather than ask the fans for more money. So I am okay with that. But this turf, you can talk about safety all you want. This isn't about safety. This is about opportunities to make more revenue, whether that be somebody's going to come in because they want to see the different end zone and pay ticket prices to get in there, and they want to see it's part of an atmosphere to get more people in the shoe, or it's, hey, look at that, Kroger or Nationwide or Huntington Bank, they said they wanted a corner of this end zone. And again, I'm okay with that, but this is, again, another thing that's all about money, which seems to be all we're worried about in college athletics anymore.
I'm excited about it. Whether you put more sponsors on it, they will be doing that.
For sure.
That will be the case. I love the idea of being able to change things up on the field. And to be honest with you, I just didn't like the old one. I didn't like the look of it. And I know there were people that were like, hey,
What didn't you like?
I didn't think that the colors stood out. I didn't think that the red, the green looked worn to me. It's like if you're watching a golf tournament and you're watching these greens and some of the greens look burnt out, right? And you're like, oh, this is a PGA tournament and this is what their greens are looking like. That was kind of how I felt about the old Ohio State field. Is like, yeah, this really isn't sharp. And then you get and you look at a Augusta and you're like, oh my gosh, look at those greens. Look at that. That is a perfect putting green right there. And that's what I think Ohio State's going to go to.
Now, that's so funny to me because I've never watched a sporting event and been like, oh, this field looks gross.
Do you care what a basketball court looks like? Like if you're watching the Oregon basketball game you see these weird trees on the outline.
I do care about that because I think it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like it's just give me the normal. And Ohio State's football field was normal to me, so I don't care. And you mentioned like a golf tournament, and I know like there's some courses out there, and this isn't course on TV usually, but Bermuda grass and how it lays dormant at sometimes and it looks different.
Yeah.
I don't care about that as long as it doesn't, like if the green looks bad, I don't care what it looks like as long as it doesn't affect the performance. Like as long as guys aren't putting and their balls hopping and it's changing the course of the tournament or course of play with your field, I don't care about that. So it's just an interesting perspective that I never would have looked at because Ohio State football field looked fine to me. It looked like a normal football field.
Yeah, but you're also someone who's like, gosh, I love when people play with colored jerseys versus colored jerseys. So you do like the aesthetics of watching some of these football games where you're like, oh, I love this jersey combination versus this jersey
and I guess
combination.
That's, I'm paying attention to the players and not the field. Like, I'll pay attention to the field if it's tripping them up.
Yeah.
Or people are getting hurt or something like that. Now, I say that I also still love a snow football game, and I know that affects players' ability to run and what, but they're all, that's natural elements. So
you're Ohio State, and you need the best of the best. And I don't think they had the best of the best with the look or obviously with the standards of the old turf. So I love the fact that they're fixing that, right? So we're getting to a point where Ohio State's the best of the best. They have the most money just about of anyone out there. So let's get the best turf. And I was looking at Kansas's field because Ohio State's new turf is compared to what Kansas has in their stadium now.
And Kansas just did a whole new big remodel on their stadium.
Correct.
So that makes sense.
And I was looking at their end zones and how their turf and everything stood out, and I loved it. I thought it looked absolutely spectacular. And it's like, well, if Kansas football can have this as their turf, then Ohio State football better have something equal or better than what Kansas has. So I love the change of the turf. I think that's a huge deal. And I love the options as far as the jerseys. I like the fact that Ohio State is also going to kind of like make this kind of a weekly thing where it's like, okay, which jerseys are coming out? Because I'll be honest with you, for basketball, there's a lot of different varieties of the Ohio State basketball uniform. It's kind of a little bit of a thing with me and my family is, I wonder which jerseys Ohio State Hoops is going to come out with. Are they going to come out with the grays today? Are they going to wear the whites at home? Are they going to even wear, scarlets at home? Like, it's kind of a little bit of a thing of what are they going to do? And so I kind of like that they're doing that a little bit with football this year is you got 5 different options with the jerseys. Let's see what they're going to do week to week.
Now, I will say this. What you just said, I don't like.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I like if you do one a year, with your, like, this is going to be our blackout night, so we're going to do this. I actually don't love the Scarlet Rush. I don't love the all-red look. The all-white I actually do, and I'm usually not an all-white guy, but the all-white looks very clean in these. I am not that person. I understand that you do it to be a good partner with Nike. I also think that Ohio State has one of the most iconic football uniforms in the whole country. So just let that go. And as good as those home and aways look right now with the silver Buckeye stripe back on the sleeves, I don't want to go into each game wondering, well, what jersey are we going to wear? Like, I want you to look like Ohio State. Now, I get the one-off, and I'm okay with that. But if we're going to be doing this multiple times a year, I'm not a super fan of that.
Well, I mean, all right. So the all red, the all scarlet ones is the one that I kind of like, I don't love that as much.
No.
But I'm okay if you're going to do that for one game against, a random opponent, right? And
but if you're doing all of them, if you're going to put all 3 of these alternates in during the year, I don't love that.
Okay.
I want one year, one the next year. That's just I think your jersey's iconic, and I don't see Alabama and Penn State and schools like that doing this kind of thing. So you've got me on the one-off. I don't want to do it every week.
All right. At Ohio State, you expect to play 15 or 16 college football games this coming season. So to have 4 or 5 different uniform combinations, you're still going to be wearing that main jersey, the home jersey, mostly, right? 5-6 times you're going to do that.
16, do it twice, maybe.
Okay, so you're saying wear the typical jerseys and then maybe one time do the all black, one time
during the regular season do an alternate, and if you want to do one like the first playoff game, like they do the all scarlet against Tennessee, I believe. Okay, you can have me at that. I understand it's what people want. It's going to get them hyped up, but we can talk a little bit more about this coming up next. We're also going to get into 2014 playoff. I hate it. And I think most people do. You are on the other side, though. You actually like it.
I don't like it. I love it.
And we want to hear from you guys on that. 614-821-9710. It is the Fan Call-In Show on The Fan.
We're the girthiest radio station in the history of radio. Uncomfortably girthy. This promo is uncomfortable. The Fan, Ohio's girth destination.
Working your way through that home projects list, that means more flushes, more showers, more fiddling with the thermostat. Trust the pros at the Waterworks with your plumbing, drain, heating, and cooling needs. Our certified pros can repair or replace your air conditioner or furnace. Clogs? Call the Waterworks. Drain issues? Call the Waterworks. Plumbing problems? Call the Waterworks. HVAC breakdowns? Call the Waterworks. The Waterworks. Trusted and certified plumbing, drain, heating, and cooling experts.
Hey, it's Anthony Rothman, and for the longest time, I figured the less I did, the less I'd hurt. Well, I figured wrong. Something always happens, and when it does, I've always gone to Orthopedic One, Central Ohio's most trusted orthopedic practice. They rank #1 in Ohio and top 5 in the nation for orthopedics. So whether you're struggling with ongoing pain or facing a sudden orthopedic injury, you can always schedule an appointment directly with their physicians. No referral required. Start with the specialists. Start at orthopedic1.com.
James Laurinaitis here for my guys at Green & Sons, the premier Kubota dealership in Central Ohio. Green & Sons has all the Kubotas you need to tackle your land and come out a winner. They have zero-turn skid steers, tractors from 18 to 171 horsepower, and also utility vehicles. My favorite is my RTV Sidekick. The best thing about Green & Sons is they've been family-owned and operated since 1970, and you will love dealing with the Green family and their winning team. Do what I did and check out Green & Sons located in Mount Sterling and Marysville, or online at greenandsons.com for all your Kubota needs.
Parents, are your teens good with money? No. Switch to Huntington Bank and let's teach them. They get their own card, which they can add to their digital wallet, and you can monitor and set spending limits. Let's get more from money. Switch to Huntington Bank. Welcome. Eligibility requirements apply. Some features may require enrollment.
Common Man and Timmy here for Hollywood Casino Columbus. Oh, Timmy, it's getting closer.
What is?
The grand opening of the new Hollywood Casino Columbus Hotel.
Oh, that's right. The grand opening celebration is coming up on June 12th. Bret Michaels will be there.
And there's going to be fireworks and food trucks and swag and a chance to win a motorcycle.
Motorcycle shit. Get tickets at Ticketmaster.com.
Plus, on select Wednesdays and Saturdays, it's the $1,000 Win Your Way drawings.
Must be 21 to enter. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-589-9966.
Enjoy more ways to save at Kroger, like low prices in every aisle. And you can clip and save more with digital coupons in the Kroger app. Plus, you can earn fuel points to save up to $1 per gallon at the pump. So it's always easy to save big. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Savings may vary by state. Fuel restrictions apply. See site for details.
You can save big on USDA Choice boneless chuck roasts. They're on sale now for just $6.99 a pound with your digital coupon. Limit 5. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Hi, I'm Connie Britton. I support Feeding America because they help provide over 6 billion meals to people in need each year. Learn more at feedingamerica.org. Feeding America, 200 food banks strong.
Common Man and Timmy. Voted America's dumbest show by Marconi voters. Common Man is a Columbus radio legend. And by legend, I mean it's a miracle he hasn't been fired yet. And Timmy is, well, Timmy will complain about anything and everything. And he kind of looks like a woman. Giggity, giggity, giggity. So there's that. Common Man and Timmy.
Sponsored by Hinderer Motor Company.
Weekday afternoons from 3 to 6 on The Fan.
Hey, it's Anthony Rothman here for Germain Honda of Dublin. Gas prices are up. You can drive smarter with a fuel-efficient Civic, Accord, or CR-V hybrid. More miles on every tank and keep more money in your pocket. And here's the best part. Great lease and finance rates are available right now for qualified buyers. Get so much more out of your tank of gas. Visit Germain Honda of Dublin. They're just south of 270 on Sawmill Road, or shop anytime at GermainHondaofDublin.com.
Need a roof you can count on? Ramos Roofing has protected homes and businesses throughout Ohio for almost 20 years. Whether it's a leaky roof, storm damage, new siding, or new gutters to protect your foundation, Ramos Roofing delivers quality materials, professional installation, and honest service every time. Get your free roof or exterior assessment today and ask about Ramos Roofing's no-interest financing options. Call 614-761-7663 or visit online at RamosRoofingOhio.com. Delaware County Veteran Veterans Services, here for those who served. Located on the ground floor of the historic courthouse in downtown Delaware, our team of veteran county veteran service officers is ready to help you access VA benefits, emergency financial assistance, dental and medical grants, transportation, and more. Need a ride to a VA appointment? Facing a financial emergency? Are you or your spouse simply looking for answers? Then give Delaware County Veterans Services a call. 740-833-2010 to schedule an appointment. Delaware County Veterans Services.
Have you ever met a man who wins money betting on tennis? Enter Scotty Vegas. Join Scotty and Dave Biddle for On the Money.
Presented by Ohio for Responsible Gambling.
Sunday mornings at 9 on The Fan. Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Scattered thunderstorms during the first part of the day give way to lots of sunshine for the late morning into the afternoon. It'll be a warm one with highs in the mid-80s. Tonight, mainly clear skies and mild mid-60s for a low. Tomorrow, hottest day of the year so far with highs around 90, mostly sunny and humid with breezy southwest winds. For The Fan, I'm 10 Weather Impact meteorologist Justin Gertz.
If the sound of another man slammed against plexiglass turns you on, you've come to the right place. Proud to be your home for Jackets hockey. The Fan, Ohio sports destination. Back to the show of the fans, by the fans, and for those crazy fans. This is the Fan Call-In Show.
Sponsored by the Sportsbook at Hollywood Casino Columbus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-589-9966.
Welcome back in, Fan Call-In Show. We want to hear from you. It was a big week from Ohio State. 614-821-9710. With all of the jersey announcements, we talked a lot about that, and the new turf as well. In the first segment, we're going to get into some of the 24-team college playoff here in a minute.
Can I just say, I want to give a ton of credit to Ohio State and Ross Bjork, because I do believe that he kind of listened to what the fans wanted as far as these jerseys go. With adding the gray to the sleeves, I love it. The fans have wanted it for a very, very long time. Then I think there was a lot of people out there complaining about the turf, the look of the turf, the safety of the turf, and they're fixing that situation. And I just feel like this has been an absolute grand slam of an off season for Ohio State football, because what are the other things that we were complaining about and wanting? We wanted a special teams coach. Ohio State goes out and hires a special teams coach. We wanted an emphasis on making sure that we had a good experienced kicker. Ohio State went out, got a good experienced kicker. Hey, offensive coordinator, you're talking about Arthur Smith, a guy with a ton of experience in the NFL. So I think as far as Ohio State's offseason goes, I think it has been a grand slam home run. Everything has been awesome since that loss. Obviously, brutal loss to Miami. But everything since then, I think Ohio State has hit out of the park.
They've done a good job. And you know what? You probably should listen to the fans when you keep asking the fans for more money on what they want. And we saw them do this with the shot and the shoe. They put out questionnaires to the fans, like, what do you want? What's the biggest thing you want changed and whatnot? And you have to take that into consideration. And I am someone who I'm not that person that thinks you have to change arenas all the time. Like, you're going to watch the game. I don't really care about the amenities, quite frankly. Now, you want to be comfortable.
I want to be able to go to the bathroom and not wait 30 minutes.
And that's part of the comfortability. And listen, we've talked about this before too. Ohio Stadium, when it was first built, was what, a 66,000 stadium? And they've added over 40,000 seats throughout the years. I'm not sure they added the appropriate amount of bathrooms and whatnot. Also, games didn't used to take 4 hours. Games used to be done in 2.5 hours back when the shoe, so you probably didn't need as many restrooms. I'm sure there wasn't as many concessions back then and people drinking as much alcohol as they do now at games. So things have changed, and it's hard to just pop up bathrooms, right? But it's things that Ohio State needs to get done. And this is another topic we can talk about, and I wasn't planning on going there today, but soon Ohio State, and they're already having them, but there's got to be a discussion about the future of the shoe and what to do with it, because eventually, when are you throwing good money over bad? And in a world of college football and college athletics where you need every penny counts nowadays, there's going to come a time when it's a bad investment to try to keep making improvements and upgrades to the shoe.
Yeah, that's a whole different ball game. We can get down to that another time. But here's the deal. I just love that Ohio State, it feels like they're actually taking some of the feedback now. It's one thing to put out a questionnaire and then get the results and then do nothing and not change a thing about it, because that happens a lot where, okay, we want your opinion, we'll see your opinion, and then we will ignore your opinion. And that's not the case. Ohio State fans wanted the gray on the sleeves, and they have it for this coming year. They wanted it in new turf, and they're getting a new turf. So I love that they are making the changes that are needed and that are wanted by the fans. And I will tell you, I'm glad you brought up the questionnaire, because I filled one out for Ohio State basketball this last week. And when I first opened it, I was like, okay, this is going to take me about 3 or 4 minutes, and it probably won't matter what I put in here.
Okay, real quick.
Yeah.
What was in the questionnaire? What were the questions you were asked? And
Yep. So it ended up taking me about 35 minutes to do the entire questionnaire. In fact, at the end, I'm like, oh my gosh, this felt like I just did homework. But I was a season ticket holder for 20 years for Ohio State hoops. And so I wanted to take this seriously. I have not had season tickets for the last few years. And so I wanted to give feedback. And here's what a lot of the questions were, Ryan. A lot of it was about seating options and luxury, like, hey, do you want a little box? You know, if you want the opportunity to have different concessions, different food options, all you can eat, drinks, all this kind of stuff. So a lot of the amenities that they're asking about, what kind of changes you would want. Would you want to invest in a 4-person box so you've got more comfortable seats and you're in a 4-person box, or an 8-person box? So it got really, really specific. And I thought it was very interesting because it showed so many different options of things that they could change in the shot to make it a different experience for people, to make it a little bit more comfortable. One of the things was leg room. Like, how important is it that there's more leg room and things like that? So just different ways they're taking these feedbacks and they're making changes, as we are seeing. One of the things for me with the shot is you got to get a bigger video board, because I went up to Cleveland this last year for the Ohio State West Virginia game, and I was in awe of the mid-court video board up there in Cleveland versus what the shot. It looks like we're watching it on like a 20-inch television, whereas up in Cleveland it looks like you got the new 100-inch television in your living room. That's how big of a difference was, and it was a big factor for me. I'm like, gosh, this would be a huge upgrade for the shot.
And it's something that seems so simple with the video board, because you didn't used to have those things, and your focus should probably be on the game and not the video board. But there are times where you look for a replay or whatnot, and sometimes, I don't know how much in the shot, but sometimes, like at Nationwide, I know if you're too low, there's sometimes you're too close to the ice. There's sometimes your view is obstructed, so you have to look up to that board. And I was just up at a Cleveland Monsters game at Rocket Mortgage Arena a couple weeks ago, and that board is pretty crazy. And when you think of that and compare it to what is in the shot one, it looks like an old VCR TV combo.
It does. I remember when I was in college at OU, I brought my little TV that had a TV and it had a VCR connected underneath it. And I had it set up in my dorm room. And this thing was probably 24 inches.
And it weighed as much as your 65
Yes. And it was huge. And I remember carrying that thing in. But a person down the hall, I was watching one of the games on. He comes walking down the hall and he's like, what in the world is this thing? This thing is so tiny. And like, you really could not see the entire game. He's like trying to pull the edges, trying to make it bigger. It was just ridiculous. That's what it feels like we've got at the shot right now. And if you want a huge, big improvement and change, video board, it's as weird as it sounds, video board is a huge improvement to an arena, and it needs to happen at the shot.
I think it's also interesting with those questions with the fans. One of the things you've heard the fans clamor about since the shot was built was, well, why don't we just fix up St. John Arena and go back to St. John Arena? Well, none of the things you just talked about scream St. John Arena to me. And St. John Arena was great, but it's just the fans wanted, and we talked about one thing is being comfortable.
Yes.
I don't know if St. John Arena was.
I don't think there's air conditioning in there.
So.
You're not going back.
All right, Scotty, we're going to do it. 2014 college football playoff. It's on the tracks, and it's coming fast. We're on the opposite sides of this. We want to hear from you guys what side you're on. We already have one comment in the YouTube chat about this. 614-821-9710, 24-team college football playoff next on the Fan Call-In Show.
Now streaming on Paramount Plus. Beth and Rip are back in Dutton Ranch.
This life here is gonna work, isn't it?
We'll make it work. Starring Kelly Riley,
A legacy is a beautiful thing, but only if it survives.
Cole Hauser,
What's going to work?
Ed Harris,
Family is the only thing worth fighting for.
and Annette Benning.
I can make this a lot harder for all y'all.
And peace will have to wait.
Dutton Ranch. New series now streaming on Paramount Plus.
Spring is here. Now's the time to get your air conditioner ready with a $49 AC tune-up from Columbus Worthington Air. An AC tune-up can help save money on your energy bill and prevent expensive breakdowns. As your local home service experts, everything we do is backed by our exceptional service guarantee. Proudly serving Columbus homeowners for 90 years and counting. Columbus Worthington Air and Bryant Heating and Cooling. Whatever it takes. Visit cwaohio.com/radio for details, terms, and conditions. License number 47543.
Tire Discounters has turned 50. In 1976, founder Chip Wood had two things, a mission and a mustache. One helped him start a business. The other helped him start a family. 50 years later, Tire Discounters is still owned by Chip's family, living by the golden rule, which means the Wood family treats you like you want to be treated, like family, but without all the bickering, of course.
Thanks to your support, the nonprofits VetTix and First Tix have given away tens of millions of tickets and counting to vets currently serving military, the immediate family of troops killed in action, and our brave current and former first responders. These tickets are a meaningful way to say thank you to America's heroes. And now we want you to be part of the mission. Got extra tickets to concerts, games, or special events? Or want to see if you qualify? We want you to go to vettix.org and firsttix.org today. Give something to those who gave.
Matty Ice is currently bathing himself in creamy jalapeno dip. And I've officially run out of ways to tease this show. Rothman and Ice.
Weekdays at noon.
The Fan. Ever want to be a radio star? Or at least hear your voice on the air? Perhaps embarrass all your relatives? This is the Fan Call-In Show.
Sponsored by the Sportsbook at Hollywood Casino Columbus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-589-9966.
614-821-9710 is the number to call in. It is the Fan Call-In Show. I'm Ryan Baker. He is Scotty Vegas. And oh boy, I don't know if there is a more polarizing topic in sports right now than the 24-team college football playoff. The other day on Bishop and Friends, Joshua Perry was in, and him and Bo and Doug Lesmerises had a heck of a 10-minute conversation about this, where there was raised voices, and it's, I get it, because it is a topic that there doesn't seem to really be a middle ground on. You're either for this or you're against it. The one thing we know for sure is, and I guess we don't know for sure, but we do, a 24-team college football playoff is coming.
Yes.
And it's coming sooner than any of us know, probably.
I think it'll be after this season.
Do you really?
I think
I think you're right.
Come to the conclusion that they're going to go to the 24. I said it last week. I thought it'd be in this summer that they make the call on that.
I don't even know if I'm fully convinced we don't have it this season. I know that's a lot of quick logistics, but
it won't be this season. But I do believe that it will be the season after. And this is such a polarizing thing that I walk in the door today, and you and I for a half an hour are going at it, basically making the case one way or the other on the 2014 playoff. And I will start with this. I know I'm in the minority. I know that most people don't want to see a drastic change to go from 12 teams to 24 teams. However, I think there are so many positives with the 24-team playoff. I think it would make for an incredible month of December. Throw away the conference championship games, which right now mean absolutely nothing anyway. Get rid of those. Those are gone. It's done. When you have a 14, 16, 18, 20-team conference, a conference championship game is completely worthless. One, because we're at the point where these teams aren't playing each other. And so getting to 2 teams is ridiculous. Just look at how the ACC did it last year and how you had a bad 6-6 team make the conference championship game. So throw away the conference championship games. That week is gone. And now you're adding so much access to schools that before would have no shot at making a playoff. And I think that's a good thing. I think more access for schools is a really cool thing. More meaningful football games. Like, why would we argue against having more exciting, meaningful football games at the end instead of the absolute garbage, bad bowl game system that we have right now, where if you make a bowl game and it's not in the playoff, everybody sits out. Everybody who's meaningful sits out of those games. Oh, by the way, people are like, oh, you want to have the best on the best. Well, guess what? We are going to get to that point. You're still going to get to a Final Four where you have the elites playing the elites. And finally, as far as this thing goes, what I love the most about it is the home playoff games. So it's going to matter what your seed is, because if you're a top 8 seed, then you are going to get a bye. Everybody wants the bye. You're going to try and get into that top 8 to get a bye. And then you are going to host a home playoff game. No matter what, if you're a top 8 seed, you get a home playoff game. So it matters to be top 8. And then from 9 to 16, you're trying to get in because you want to be in that range because you want a home playoff game in the very first round. I think it's brilliant. I love it. I know that a lot of it is geared towards money. I just think that it would make the month of December, like what we have with March and March Madness, it would make the month of December the most exciting, awesome month of the year. Disagree?
I'm looking at some of the scores from last year's college football playoff. 41-10, 51-34 in a game that wasn't even that close. 23-0, 38-3, 56-22. We're getting a lot of bad games in the college football playoff already. And when we expand this thing, we're going to get more. So you're going to have bad games at the end of the season, and then you're going to lose games in the beginning of the season, because I don't think you're going to have the SEC wanting to play the Big Ten and whatnot. And we still have Alabama and Ohio State on the schedule for the following 2 seasons. I'll believe that those games are played when I see them. And I don't think you're going to have these teams scheduling anybody. And we've said, well, when we go to 12, that means we can have more games like this. Well, no, it turned out that wasn't the case. A lot of these games were getting canceled. So now you're losing meaningful games in the regular season, and you're diminishing the value of the regular season. And you can say these teams are going to fight for seeding, but we have seen in the pros, some of these teams don't care about their seeding. They'll rest guys, or it doesn't matter, just make sure we get in. Now, there is sometimes where they're like, we got to fight for a home game or whatnot, yada, yada. I also think buys in this thing are bad. I don't like buys. Like, we should all be playing the same amount of games to find the true champion here. I'm not a big fan of the buys in this. I don't like buys in the NFL either, quite frankly. And they have, what is it, the 1 seed now gets a bye or whatnot. I think one of the things that we loved about college football was every game mattered. And every game doesn't matter anymore, especially when you're having teams that are going to get in this playoff with 4 losses. I don't ever think it's good in life to reward mediocrity, and we expand this playoff. We reward mediocrity. You talk about, well, more teams are going to get a chance. Who cares if they can't win a national championship?
You want more games that matter? Then you have more teams that are trying to get into a playoff, meaning you've got more meaningful games out there.
When you have North Texas playing Georgia, that doesn't matter. You already know the outcome for the most part going in. We don't have, and I've talked about this, I think the difference between 1-32 in the NFL is like the difference between 1-10 in college football. Everything in the pros is more equal. Like a 4-13 team in the NFL is closer to a 13-4 team in the NFL than Ohio State is to whoever the 24th team would have been last year, North Texas or Tulane or whoever it was. I just don't like, I don't think you ever win rewarding mediocre.
So a few things. So every other playoff or postseason in every other sport has a significant amount of teams in it. NHL, NBA, half of the teams make the playoffs. We talk about how much we love postseason hockey. Oh, is there anything better than postseason hockey? Well, guess what? 16 teams make the playoffs in hockey.
And that's probably too many, but again, this is the pros. The playing field is shrunk.
In high school football, we see a ton of teams
and I hate that.
make the postseason. In the NFL, we see 14 of the teams make the postseason. And guess what? We don't complain. We don't complain about watching postseason NFL games. We really don't. And looking at it, you talk about teams that matter and games that matter. I love the fact that in December, we could have playoff games at Utah. We could have a playoff game at USC, at Texas, at Alabama. We will have all these home playoff games, and I think it'll be a really, really cool scene. I think back to that Ohio State-Tennessee game, and Ohio State is hosting a humongous postseason game in the Shoe in December, a meaningful game. And I thought that atmosphere and I thought that weekend was absolutely incredible. I want more of that.
Cool scene doesn't mean good enough to play for a national championship.
Okay, you and I had this discussion before the show, and we had a 12-team playoff this year, and what did we see? We saw Miami, who was a 10 seed, make it all the way to the national championship and have a lead in the fourth quarter to win it all as the 10 seed. They were the 10 seed. They were almost not even in the playoff. And by the way, a team that didn't make the playoff in Notre Dame, I believe if Notre Dame had gotten into the playoff this year, they would have absolutely had a chance to win it all.
Why did Miami lose to Louisville and SMU then?
A couple bad weeks, right?
Again, we love college football because every game matters. That's just...
Don't give me every game matters.
And listen, I talked about this with Ohio State, and people were like, you're not an Ohio State fan. I loved Ohio State winning the national championship in 2024. And that 4-game run was one of the best runs a team has ever had. I hated watching Ohio State football in 2024, though, during the regular season because they underperformed. They didn't play like they were capable of. And when you see them play like that on a run to national championship, it ticks you off even more that you had to deal with what you had to deal with in the regular season. It was one of my least favorite regular seasons to watch.
Okay.
Because they didn't play up to standards, and they probably, were they the best team? Yes. They didn't play like it, and they probably didn't deserve to play for a national championship.
But guess what? It's all about in sports peaking at the right time, right? And Ohio State peaked at the right time. Whatever, maybe it was the Michigan loss that woke them up. Whatever it ended up being.
Which we need to talk about that.
They peaked at the right time and won a championship. Just like, Michigan basketball. Give them credit. They lost to Duke in the regular season, right? They lost a few regular season games. That didn't mean, they have no right to go and compete for a national championship. They peaked at the right time, won 6 games in a row, and won the college basketball national championship. I mean, it's just getting your team right at the right time. And I'm sorry, like you talk about every game mattering. You love the 4-team college football playoff. when we had the 4-team college football playoff, there was about 8 teams, 8, maybe 10 teams that had a legit shot to make the college football playoff. So what it meant was all the other teams, the other 100+ teams in college football, had no shot at making the playoff, and they were playing a bunch of meaningless college football games. And now we're getting to the point where we are going to see so many teams now have the opportunity to play meaningful football in October and November into December. And as an OSU basketball fan, I will bring this up. Ohio State hoops. The object for Ohio State this last year was kind of to get into the tournament. They've had several bad years. They've missed the tournament several years in a row. So it was like, hey, let's get into the tournament. Let's consider that kind of a win. And so what do? Like it was like a kind of a little bit of achievement just to get in. If you're looking at a lot of these other schools like a Virginia or an Iowa or Houston or some of these other schools, getting into the tournament, into the playoff is a win for them, and it makes it a successful season.
Can they win it all?
No,
then
they can't.
What does it matter? Why
Ohio
are they
State
there?
hoops wasn't going to win it all either.
And
I liked watching them play in a tournament
before. The NCAA tournament might be the most exciting way to crown a champion, but it's not the best way.
Yeah, but
never has been.
We saw the best team in the country win the national championship this year in Michigan.
Sure, this year.
We saw UConn go back-to-back winning titles when they were the best team. We saw Florida the year before this. Like, the best team still finds a way to end up winning the championship at the end.
614-821-9710 is the number to call. Jim, hang on the line. We will get to you next. We will also talk about that Ohio State-Michigan game a little bit, too. It's the Fan Call-In Show on The Fan.
We have so many local shows, I can't fit them in a 10-second promo. So let's just say we're live and local all damn day. The Fan.
2 guys drove to work. Neither guy wore a seatbelt. One guy got a ticket. One guy didn't. The same 2 guys drove home. One guy wore his seatbelt. One guy didn't. One guy made it home. The guy not wearing his seatbelt didn't. Don't risk it. Click it or ticket. Paid for by NHTSA.
Jack Nicklaus's unrivaled vision. World-class competition. Yes. Golf's greats honor. Impactful charitable giving, loyal fans and volunteers, an iconic history defined by one handshake on the 18th green. June 1st through 7th, buy your tickets to celebrate the 50th anniversary of the Memorial Tournament presented by Workday. Visit memorialtickets.com.
Hey, John, why so glum?
I just got let go. The company's downsizing. This is the 3rd time in the last 2 years. I'm done with this.
Have you thought about My Computer Career? I've heard they can train you for a career in IT in just a few months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI. And you don't need prior training or experience. Now that's a recession-resistant career.
Wow, thanks. I'll check them out.
Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. Mycomputercareer.edu, an Elite CompTIA certification partner. Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
I love RightPath Credit Union because they're solution-driven.
I feel valued as a member.
They're focused on the latest technology and the personal connections.
Experience benefits that go beyond banking with RightPath Credit Union. Just ask our actual members.
I definitely recommend RightPath to all my family and friends as a credit union of choice.
Visit one of our Columbus area RightPath Credit Union member centers near you. Based on individual members' experiences, results may vary.
Hey, it's Timmy Hall for Central Ohio's most trusted orthopedic practice, Orthopedic One. A couple years ago, I felt like I was breezing through life. I was tearing through rounds of golf, and it hit me. Excruciating hip pain. Hip that would not go away until I saw my friends at Orthopedic One. Then, bye-bye pain. So if you're dealing with constant pain or you suffered an injury, start with the specialist. Start at orthopedic1.com. There's no referral required, and there's several convenient locations in Central Ohio. Schedule your appointment at orthopedic1.com.
Wounded Warrior Project helps post 9/11 veterans and their families realize what's possible. With support and resources that bring warriors together and empower them to become stronger, both inside and out.
It's possible to begin healing,
to get the help you need,
to find peace. And as each warrior's needs evolve, so do we. Because these last 20 years are just the beginning. Learn more at woundedwarriorproject.org/possible.
Hey, it's Bobby Carpenter. Summer savings are heating up at Germain Toyota of Columbus. Right now, drive home in the rugged 2026 Toyota Tacoma for just $299 financing for up to 48 months, or turn heads in the sporty and stylish 2026 Camry XSE. Lease it for only $399 a month for 36 months with $39.99 due at signing and 10,000 miles per year. So whether you need truck capability or sedan comfort, Germain Toyota has the next ride waiting. Germain Toyota on the corner of I-70 and Bryce Road, or online at germaintoyota.net.
James Laurinaitis here for my guys at Green & Sons, the premier Kubota dealership in Central Ohio. Green & Sons has all the Kubotas you need to tackle your land and come out a winner. They have zero-turn skid steers, tractors from 18 to 171 horsepower, and also utility vehicles. My favorite is my RTV Sidekick. The best thing about Green & Sons is they've been family-owned and operated since 1970, and you will love dealing with the Green family and their winning team. Do what I did and check out Green & Sons located in Mount Sterling and Marysville, or online at greenandsons.com for all your Kubota needs.
When it comes to your roofing, siding, or gutter needs, call Newman Roofing, 614-NEW-ROOF, newmanroofing.com.
Being diagnosed with leukemia, lymphoma, myeloma, or one of over 100 other types of blood cancer makes people want more time to do the things they love. That means more time to be artists, prom dates, world travelers, and moms. We are Blood Cancer United, the world's leading organization focused solely on blood cancer research, support, and advocacy. We do the most for more people with blood cancer, so people with blood cancer can do more of whatever they want. Blood Cancer United. Join us at bloodcancerunited.org.
After my accident, people warned me to slow down. I said, I don't know how. Thanks to my VA care team, I haven't.
At VA, we're using technology to help veterans recover faster and live their lives to the fullest. Learn more at vacareers.va.gov/PSA.
All your favorite fan shows are on YouTube, along with those fake YouTube ads like Chew This Gum and It Grows New Teeth. Experience the splendor of Bo sitting in his closet, Timmy Hall's gouty gold chains, and Matty Ice wearing a coat in 90-degree weather. It's all there. Head to YouTube and subscribe today.
The Fan Guest Hotline is sponsored by Federal Elite Heating and Cooling and Bryant, doing whatever it takes to keep you and your home comfortable. The Fan.
Your kids and spouse might not listen to you, but we will. This is the Fan Call-In Show.
Sponsored by the Sportsbook at Hollywood Casino Columbus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-589-9966.
It is the Fan Call-In Show, and we want to get out to those phone lines. Jim, you have been waiting a long time to talk about this 2014 playoff. So, Jim, go ahead. Good morning. Thanks for calling in.
You're welcome, and it's always a pleasure to be tapping the minds of the geniuses in that studio. and I split my time between Ohio and Florida, and I could see a 16-team playoff with all the money involved now in the programs, and a lot of the older kids staying around and playing. 24 is a little too big of a bite of the apple for me, and I just think it's just like we're watering everything down with all the money and the NIL money, and these guys stay until they're 25, 26 years old, 6 years, 7 years sometimes. I think the 24 teams is too much. It's going to make me change my plans. I've always tried to attend just about every Ohio State regular season game, even if I'm in Florida, and a couple of playoff games. I'm already setting my schedule up for next year. My treat for myself is going to be the IU game. I'll get in there no matter whatever I got to pay. I'll do the Michigan game. I'll pick out a couple other games, and then I'll see what happens in the playoffs. So it's already changing my schedule. Instead of attending 10, 11 games, I'm probably going to go to 4 or 5 games. And that's just my opinion. I think 24 is way too many teams, and we're just seeing everything kind of – I'm not even sure. Hopefully we still have college football in 4 or 5 years. I did see the NFL said that by these kids staying in so long, it's hurting the product of the NFL. You know, they're getting these older kids out now, 24, 25, 26 years old, and the politics is involved. I don't think they're going to be able to, pass legislation to, where you play 5 years, 4 years, you get 5 years to play at one transfer. I don't think I don't think the mid-major schools are going to go for any of that. But anyway, just my opinion. Appreciate y'all. So
Jim, thank you for being the voice of reason here today on the show. And I do know some people said this year that the NFL draft was really just a 4-round draft, that the talent at the end of the draft, that's all going to even out, right? Like all of this stuff kind of course corrects. Like you got a lot of guys staying in this year, but all those guys are going to have to come out next year. So I think that all self-correct. And look, he makes a lot of points with the watered down. And we talked about Ohio State and Michigan. And there were so many times where Michigan took everything from you. And that's why it hurts so bad. And that's why that rivalry means so much. And that rivalry is always going to mean something. But that game at the end of the year doesn't mean what it used to. And that got proven 2 years ago when Ohio State lost it, maybe the worst moment in program history, as you see them plant the flag and the fight happens and Ryan Day is standing there like, what in the world is going on? And then you go on to win the national championship. Mike Greenberg made some points this week saying when somebody sits players in an Ohio State-Michigan game, and we all think that will never happen, there's a lot of things we thought would never happen, and I could see it happening. Like we talked about, what if Julian Sayin this year has a hamstring or a shoulder or just something he's dealing with, and Ohio State's undefeated. They've already locked their spot up in the Big Ten championship. What do you have to play Julian Sayin in that game? And what if you do play him and he gets hurt? Think of the vitriol that's going to come from that. I know it's a situation you can't win for losing, but it's coming. It's going to happen.
So I will tell you, and Jim was making the case of 16-team playoff instead of 24, and that's what ESPN wants. ESPN wants the 16, and they don't want the expansion to 24 because they want to keep the price of the TV rights of this down. They don't want this to be opened up where Fox can then start bidding in on games and things like that. The reason I love 24 so much is because I love the idea of home college football playoff games. I think that's one of the coolest things that we've seen. And I think adding the fact that if you have 24, you're going to have 16 different host sites, 16 different colleges that are going to get a chance to host a college football playoff game. I love that fact. And I know the SEC and ESPN right now are kind of standing of, we don't want 24. And you're going to see a lot of a push from people, especially associated with ESPN. We've already seen Reese Davis come out and multiple people from ESPN. Oh, we don't want 24. Well, they don't want 24 because they want this thing to stay with ESPN. They don't want Fox grabbing these games. So,
well, I think, too, they don't want to water down their regular season games either.
But it doesn't water down the regular season.
It absolutely does. It does not. We just talked about it.
It makes more meaningful
We just talked about it with the Ohio State-Michigan. It has watered it down some, and there's no denying that.
I'm denying it. I think it makes it even more valuable because you're trying to get into the top 8 to get the bye. You're trying to get into the top 16 because you want to host a playoff game, and you want to be in the top 24 because you want in. That's more meaningful football games.
2 years ago, did Ohio State lose that game?
It's less meaningful.
Just 2 years ago, did Ohio State lose that game?
Of course.
And did they win the national championship?
Yes.
There's your answer right there. More of this talk coming up next. Dave Biddle's coming in. Him, Scotty Vegas. It's on the money. Thanks for listening to the Fan Call-In Show on The Fan.
We've been your Jackets flagship station since day one. All the goals, all the action, all the memories. Your home for the Columbus Blue Jackets, the Fan, Ohio.